Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Physics here with the day 2 diary entry for the Volatile Slinger Necro. So real quick, I'm gonna let you guys see. I just cleared this map. I just turned off stream. It was a 10-hour stream, like on the dot. I recorded, well, I didn't record anything. I'm recording now. I did this at the very end of the stream, so I had a map clear video. First thing you'll notice is that I dropped the rampage. This is a tier 12 map with 50% more monster life, so it's definitely, those are some tanky boys. So I'll talk over this while you know, past me clears this real quick. And as you can see in the timer on the right hand side, that is now paused. That is the character's current lifespan timer, so we're almost 24 hours into this character on day 2. I wasn't originally going to make a day 2 update because the first, I would say 7 or 8 hours today were abysmal. I got literally nothing. And today, as you might notice, I think I was like level 89 at the end of the last video. I'm only 92 today. Like, as you can see in the bottom, about a quarter of the way through 92. So I didn't get a whole lot of levels today. And I was just trying to get bases. Farmed a lot of Syndicate for Scarabs, both Elder and Shaper for the Shaper Shield and the Elder Amulet. Like I talked about yesterday, I did have the PoE Elder Amulet I got from Ritual, but that base type was not cutting it at all. So I wanted to definitely farm Elder influence maps today and have a chance to try to replace it with a better base, especially a Dex base like a Jade Amulet or a Citron, preferably a Citron so I could have the strength too, but Jade would be fine. So there goes the map boss. He died really quick for 50% more life there. But yeah, the build's coming along great. Made a ton of upgrades in the past 2 hours of stream, a ton of them. As soon as the map's done, I'll show it to you guys. Overall, it's fine. The map clear did slow down a little bit because I dropped the rampage gloves, but my character is way stronger because of it. If at some point I can enable the setup again, then I will. I'm also not using Death Rush anymore, so this entire map you see is without Onslaught. Now tomorrow I will probably just go to using a Silver Flask and actually having Onslaught, but for this map I just was using a Quartz. That's honestly an oversight on my part. I don't need to be using a Quartz on this build because you're never like really on mobs anyway, and then if you are, you can just shield charge or flame dash out. Like, it's not a big deal. You don't really get caught on mobs with this build. But yeah, man, I've really been struggling. I've almost given up actually farming a Glorious Vanity. Legion sucks this league, dude. The nodes are terrible. They took away the chance to drop his emblem as well. Even just running Glennet Cairns with all 3 of the Legion nodes is yielding me like maybe 5 or 6. There we go, we're done. Maybe 5 or 6 of the, there I am, there we go. 5 or 6 of these splinters. Like, this is all that I have. It's really sad. And that's from an entire day of Glennet Cairns farming. So it's really rough. Other than that, I'll go ahead and I'll go through the passive tree first, because this will be the quickest and easiest thing to do. 3 more levels. Basically, I got Snow Forged and Elemental Mastery for the increased effective ailments. Right now I'm spec'd into this this small node here, and then this small life node here. Once I get 2 more levels, then I will unspec those 2 so I can get Blood Drinker, but for now I just want that life. As you'll notice, I have quite a bit of raw HP now, combining the 2, about 8,836, 38 math. So yeah, we're getting up there in the numbers. I would love if I could put a Glorious Vanity in this and have Corrupted Soul, because that would probably get me to around 11k. And there's still a lot I can do in terms of upgrades of the build. Anywho, so I'll walk through the gear real quick, and then that'll be the end of it. So almost every piece, like I said yesterday, almost every single piece you see here has been replaced. These gloves are pretty bad, they're whatever, but they were the only gloves I had in my stash at the time. I needed to drop the worm signs because juggling my resistances was too hard with the gear I had at the time. So I'll start here. This is actually really good for like damage, but it doesn't give me anything in the way of defensives. It's only energy shield. Like I don't even have it qualityed. I couldn't be ass. But I definitely need, like, at the very least, evasion energy shield hybrid gloves or something. Because this is like not cutting it on the defensive side. I'm looking to replace these ASAP. But they do have a lot of damage, increased minion damage, obviously, because spiritual aid. So increases to minion damage affect us. Affects the corpse explosion damage of DD as well, so it's very nice. Increased attack speed, actually good for this build because it lets you sling faster. You'll notice I'm slinging way faster than yesterday, and this is without frenzy charges. Yeah, sustaining the mana fine really solidly. So whatever here. And the links I have Raise Spectre, Meat Shield, Flame Dash, and Flammability. So today I also flipped all my gems. Any ones that needed to be flipped, most of them were utility. The only like link I had to actually flip was Spell Cascade, and that's not really like huge for damage. It's just like a utility mostly. Everything else I actually got qualityed with Harvest Crafts. So today anything that needed to be flipped was flipped, and everything that needed to be volled was volled for the most part. I volled a lot of things. I got a level 21 inspiration. I went for the vol on Bone Offering. Yeah, anything that didn't need quality, I just volled it when it hit 20. Waiting on Spell Cascade and Elemental Focus to hit 20 so I can vol those. My VD did not hit 21, but it also didn't go down to 29, so whatever. Spellslinger is level 20, but it's only at 12 quality. It only gets spell damage for quality, which isn't really a whole lot. Like, spell damage doesn't do a whole lot for this build, but I'm gonna get the last of the quality on that before I vol it, just because, you know, it does help. Like 8% spell damage, whatever. It's better than not having it, right? So moving on, the belt, I actually have an open craft on the belt. I just didn't even do it before I stopped stream, so I don't know what I'm gonna put on there. I'll figure it out tomorrow. I can put on more dex, or I could put on a more chaos res. Right now I actually have a decent chunk of chaos res. I'm sitting at 32%, which isn't bad, with the ability to get another 9% just on the crafts I already have, which would put me at 41. And then if I put another 15% at this, I'd be at 55, which is pretty fat chaos res, to be honest. The jewel I'm using is a really nice jewel. It's not a super high life roll, but it does have evasion, which again, you know, evasion's good now, right? So it's got a decent chunk of evasion, decent chunk of life, and then minions deal increased damage if you use a minion skill recently. I actually don't know if this applies to me. It's hard to actually tell. I'm assuming it does, but I am actually not positive. Anyway, fugitive boots, these are just okay. I got a decent chunk of resistances on there with a decent move speed roll. These will be recrafted and replaced tomorrow, more than likely. Yeah, I mean, they're okay, but preferably I would have all of the rolls I have now except with tier 1 life, and then I would craft on the movement speed with onslaught on kill. That would be, I think, my preferred setup for this. And then in the gloves I would get the reduced effect of shock and chill craft. That's how I'm planning it right now, at least. And then in the boots I have my frenzy set up with faster attacks, barrage, and combustion. Combustion I didn't flip or corrupt because there's really no point. I only care about the minus 10 fire res. Nothing else matters on the jewel, so, or on the gym rather. Next up is the shield. The shield's the same as yesterday, so I'm not going to go over it. The helmet is also the same as yesterday. So the wand is an imbued wand. It rolled tier 1 flat fire to spells, and I just took it as is because, you know, the attacks per second is important for Spellslinger. So it was a little bit less like sheet DPS than the convoking one I had, but in reality it's actually more DPS because I'm getting more casts off of my spells. Now on to the juicy stuff. I got my hunter chest piece, as you can see. I got it crafted decently, and I liquidated all my jeweler's orbs, 1,000 jeweler's orbs, and then threw a good like 200 to 300 fusings at it. I wasn't expecting to hit it, to be honest, but I ended up hitting 6-link with 7 fusings left. It was very close. But this is one of those pieces where when I get everything else like set up and in order, I'm gonna look to recraft this or make a new one, either on a different base item if I can, you know, farm hunter once I get to tier 16s. Yeah, probably what I'll do is just look for another hunter chest piece and then craft on that. But this is definitely really solid for now. It gives me a nice chunk of offering effect. So if you notice here, I'm at 65 block and 72 spell block. So my block is now insanely high. We are very, very close to getting max block. Not that you really need max block. I mean, my first Maven kill with actually Detonate Dead Necro, like self-cast, had way less block. Back in the day, it was a lot easier to get attack block and much harder to get spell block. So I think attack block cap, and then like spell block was actually only around like 55-ish. So and then for bosses, spell block is much more important than attack block. So having spell block cap is huge. So honestly, I'm not really that concerned about the block. The reason I corrupted my bone offering, by the way, is if it hit 21, then it would give me 1 block chance. Funnily enough, you don't really gain anything going from 19 to 20 because you have the reduced offering effect on you. So if you get to 21, you'll actually be able to gain some block chance. So that's why I just immediately vault it, because if it hit 19, it wouldn't really affect me at all. Nothing would change. So yeah, this chest piece pretty nice. It's got a good life roll, some int, which helps with energy shield, cold res, and then increased effective offerings. It sucks that I hit T2 instead of T1, so I'm losing out on 5% offerings at max roll, but it's all right. Other than that, the 10% life is energy shield craft, and then onto the rings. This is a pretty solid ring. Tier 1 life, right? Tier 1? Yeah, tier 1 life on the ring. Dex roll. Again, Dex is very important. I'm very short on Dex in this build. All res, lightning res, and then minus mana costs. Very big on this build. Funnily enough, I had this at -5 mana cost for a while, and I didn't have enough mana to trigger bone offering. So the extra -2 to mana cost tilted me over the threshold to being able to cast bone offering now with the trigger craft. I was running like a scuff setup with like a bunch of extra mana on the tree for a little bit, because my old convoking wand had a bunch. It had like plus 100 mana, so I was actually fine. The next thing, this is a super sick ring. Ideally, it would have an open prefix without that energy shield roll, but I'm fine with it, whatever. I'm not gonna complain. I hit tier 1 life with tier 2 chaos res, and it also hit cold res and mana. And again, mana is kind of important since you're so low on mana in this build. And then it has an open suffix, so you can craft additional chaos res, you can craft, I think, fire damage or dex in this case is what I have on there for now. But that will certainly change by tomorrow. So yeah, my rings are pretty good, but they may be changing soon, and I will show you momentarily. First, let me show you my new Elder Amulet, which is amazing. So I randomly dropped this Elder Amulet with my very last Elder Scarab. I ran like 10 or 11 Scarabs. This was my very last one, and it was a rusted, so it was the worst Elder Scarab. So I dropped the Jade Elder Ami. And then in that same map, I found a harvest, and I ran the harvest 2 life recrafts, and I hit this. Is this not absolutely insane? Tier 1 life We got the Fire Leech with a really, really good roll. Tier 1. There are 2 tiers of the Fire Leech. Maybe? I think there's only 1 tier. 0.3 seems like the lowest it could go. I'm not sure. But either way, the important part is that I got a really high roll on it. And then somehow I hit increased life leech rate at tier 1, which is huge. That stat like will make you like recoup faster, obviously, because like the way leech is like incredibly convoluted and very complex. But basically, if you hit something, you're gonna like it basically leech will give you like a bunch of life regen, and it's capped out at a certain amount of life regen. This will let you regen faster effectively. So that's actually a really good stat to have. Very cool that I found this. Anointed it ASAP, obviously. Very good find. I'm not gonna get anything better than this, that's for sure. Probably the best item I have on this character right now, by far. But I really like my ring as well. So, some things I want to show you guys before I end the video. I have this absolutely terrible Shaper Shield, which I'm currently farming Harvest to craft. It's a terrible, terrible base, but if I can get the, some of the right affixes on it, it'll be better than what I'm currently using, which is effectively pretty much just like raw. It's like a little, it's tier 1 life and then some energy shield, right? It's like, it's not that good. And in a map, Expedition gifted me with a Drox Ruby Ring, a Warlord's Ruby Ring. So I also need to harvest craft this for flammability on hit. And then this will probably replace my 2-stone ring. Now, my rings are very, very good. I did do a few harvests earlier and I hit flammability multiple times, but I do not want to take this ring and use it until I have a very, very solid craft on there. So I want flammability on hit. I want at least tier 2 life, and then preferably dexterity, a dexterity roll on there, and then some other resistances. Basically 3 of the 4 things I listed need to be on the ring in order for me to replace it with what I currently am using. Because right now I don't see, like, I'm self-casting Flam when I need it. 99% of the mobs in the game die instantly anyway, and because of the way Detonate Dead and Volatile Dead work, the more life something has, the more damage I'm going to deal to everything else around it when it dies. So you pretty much don't need the Flam on hit for like clearing, because as you go up through the tiers, Detonate Dead will just carry your damage. Even if you don't have good damage, like Detonate Dead, inherently the way the skill works, if mobs have a ton of health, like technically more mob life, at least for clearing, is a buff to Detonate Dead as far as you're concerned, because more monster life means more corpse life. More corpse life means a lot more damage. So you don't really need the flammability on hit for clearing. It's nice quality of life, like to like 1-tap rares, easier stuff like that if they don't go down the first like cast or whatever. But it's not mandatory at all. And flammability, it takes, it takes literally no time at all to just put up on a boss, and I've had no problems with it. So I'm not gonna, it's not like on the Berserker where I need Vuln on hit and it's like a massive upgrade. This would be really nice to have. It would be a good upgrade, but it's not like, I'm not like craving it. I don't need it. And then the very last thing I want to show you guys is this wand. Why is this wand important? Well, you'll notice that it has tier 1 life, as tier 1 flat fire dispels and tier 1% cold damage. Now I want to show you guys something. I'm going to open up my monitor here and we're going to go to Craft of Exile, right? So with this wand, I've already imported it in. With this wand, if I want flat fire damage to spells, tier 1, and I want percent increased fire damage in the suffix, and I'm using alteration spams, I need 11,105 for a 60% confidence, which means roughly 1 in 20,000. I have a 1 in 20,000 chance with an Orb of Alteration to hit this. I randomly, not knowing the odds, just threw a few alterations on the wand because it was bricked. I annulled it. I had like a really good craft. I had tier 1 flat fire and tier 2 fire damage with some other stuff, but the suffixes were full. So I needed to annul one of the dead suffixes to be able to craft on trigger wand. Because if I can't craft on trigger, then I can't use the wand, right? So I annulled it, and then I annulled off the fire % damage, so then the wand was dead. And then I just scoured it, and I just YOLO'd a few alterations. Somewhere between 5 and 10 alterations, I hit what I hit. So I hit a 1 in 20,000 chance with just a few alterations. And it just happened to be % cold instead of % fire. Isn't that some RNG? And then directly after this, I got this amulet. So I think that was the universe balancing itself out there for totally shitting on my face with this level of... This is like the worst good luck I've ever had. Or the best bad luck. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Either way, I wanted to share that with you guys because it was really funny and also very tragic. So yeah, tomorrow we'll round out the character a little bit more. Excited to start doing some bosses and stuff. I've moved all the way up to like tier 13s at this point. So tomorrow we'll definitely be in T16s, juicing it up. Would love to, for just juicing, if I decide to XP and go hard on this build, I would love if I could find a way to fit the worm signs back in the build. But if I fit the worm signs back in the build, I need a way to generate endurance charges back into the build as well. And crafting a good endurance charge on kill setup is actually quite difficult to have like good stats on everything. And I definitely, you guys, by now you should know, I really like to have like good gear. I like to have good gear before I start pushing like, you know, like super endgame content, like the bosses and stuff. So yeah, maybe Cirrus tomorrow with this build. It depends, but definitely some T16 content, doing some higher up stuff. Maybe a few Elder Guardian maps, Shaper Guardian maps, stuff like that. Hopefully I don't die to a Phoenix Slam this time, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm excited to keep rounding out the character. Got tons of upgrades today, surprisingly. I wasn't expecting to there at the end, but yeah, super pumped to continue building out the character. If you guys made it this far in the video, let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or whatever about the build. Also, let me know down in the comments, or feel free to join my Discord. The link's down in the description. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Berserker build guide also is on the way. And I think I'm gonna end the video here. If you like the video, maybe consider thumbs upping. If you dislike the video, maybe consider thumbs downing. Tell me how I can do my delivery better. And if you like me, maybe consider subscribing. And that's it for me, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, you know, whatever it is, wherever you are. Peace, guys.